I've written a song about my mental health. I just want to share with you this story and the behind the scenes process of writing and crafting this song, simply because it's a song that I'm really proud of.
I'm meant to be the rock, supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything, but I find it hard to talk. I know you're the one I can tell anything to. I'm meant to be the rock, supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything, but I find it hard to talk.
As songwriters, we want to write songs that are full of meaning and full of expression. Sometimes the songs you write will surprise you, and that's what's happened in this case. I didn't sit down to write this song thinking I was going to write a song about my mental health. I sat down to write a song simply because I had a couple of hours spare, and I decided that I wanted to write a rock song.
I'm meant to be the rock.
First decision I made was to use the key of E, and I chose major because power chords and major chords tend to have more of a rock quality to them. So it's just an E major chord to a D major chord to an A major chord. It's that simple. To kind of finish off the chord progression, I figured that if I did the D chord, there's a power chord there, I could then take the D root down to a C sharp, and that would lead me perfectly into a B. And it's a nice kind of way to round off the progression, and it seemed to do the trick. I knew that it was going to evolve and it was going to progress, but it was a good foundation just to get things going. So I turned to the notes app on my phone. Now, I talk about this all the time, the importance of keeping notes of even the smallest, tiniest things, because it will prove to be an invaluable tool for you when you do start writing songs. So I went through my notes and I found this line that just said, "I'm meant to be the rock." And I thought, you know what, that even has rock in it. That's a perfect place to start. So I started playing around with the chord progression and this line, and they fit together perfectly. So I went back to the notes and I found this line underneath there saying, "I'm supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything." I pieced together a load of these notes and I just played around with things, and I came up with something that I really, really liked. I'm gonna be the rock, supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything, but I find it hard to talk. I know you're the one I can tell anything to. I'm meant to be the rock, I find it hard to talk. I'm meant to be the rock. Because I was just having fun piecing together all these ideas and putting them together and going with the flow and coming up with something, I never stopped to think what the lyrics and the things that I was writing were about. And then I remembered when it was I had written these notes in my phone. I wrote them when I wasn't doing too good. The problem is when you bottle things up, even if they're just little things, eventually these things build up and they get to a breaking point. I consider myself to be very lucky that I have a partner that has always got my back. I went to her and I spoke about these problems, which was a really, really hard thing to do. And as soon as we'd had this conversation, I remember writing down a load of notes on my phone about what I was feeling and what I was, going through. And sitting down to write this song, I've accidentally used those notes and started writing a song. But I didn't want to continue writing this song. One of the most overlooked aspects of writing songs is the fact that it's a creative decision-making process. We're making decisions to craft our ideas to best express what we want our songs to say. The decision I had to make at this point was whether I was actually going to continue writing this song or not. Now, I did really like what I had, so I decided that I wasn't going to think about what the song was about or about writing lyrics at this point. I decided I just wanted to hear what this thing was sounding like. I put together a drum and bass part, just outlining the chord progression, then I jammed along with it and I turned the chord progression into more of a riff. I went back to the drums and bass to adapt them, so I went back and forth a bunch of times until I had something that I was happy with. And it's simple enough, but it just sounds really cool. So it starts off with the open E string, and then a really cool thing you can do with both blues music and rock music is play around with the major and minor thirds. So I went for the open G string, which is the minor third of an E, then I hammered on to the first fret of the G string, which turns into the major third, and then finished with the D string second fret, which is an octave of that E, and it sounds really nice. Then you go for a power muting across basically an E major chord twice. Then a little rundown, so Just open A string, hammer onto the second fret of the D string, so we've got. Then to that D chord, a D power chord I suppose it's turned into now, to an A, and then a little pentatonic run, just going, or fill, just going from G string second fret, pull off to open, D string second fret, pull off to open, and then it repeats. Spurred on by the fact that I really liked what I had from my chorus section, I came up with a verse chord progression. Now I decided not to make this into a riff because I wanted the chorus riff to have more impact. So the verse is just basically strumming out some simple chords. I had a verse section and a chorus section, which meant I had more than enough to get started looking at the structure of the song. Next thing you know, I had a riff section that I could use as the intro and as like a bridge between the chorus and the verse. Later on I added a bridge section, which is my favourite part of the song. It's got like this really powerful breakdown kind of feel to it. But next thing you know, I had everything that I needed for the song. I knew that I wanted to finish this song at this point, mainly because I just wanted to hear what this finished song was gonna sound like. But to finish writing this song, I was gonna have to explore what these notes I'd written were about. I remembered writing these things down, and I think the reason why I wrote them down is because they perfectly summed up exactly how I was feeling at this time when I was feeling so low. Opening up in times of need really does take a lot of vulnerability. I mean, I felt so vulnerable talking to my other half about feeling so down. I feel so vulnerable right now just talking to you about the fact that I've had mental health problems. I felt vulnerable when I started writing this song and I realised what the song was ending up being about. And I've realised from actually looking at the lyrics of the chorus that I wrote that the song is actually about finding the strength to open up and talk even when you do feel vulnerable. To actually open up and write something full of meaning and expression takes more than just the craftsmanship that you have, the skills that you have to write a song. It takes a certain level of vulnerability.
All that time spent overthinking, with my head up. All that weight I'm always lifting is heavier than it looks.
I decided that it was time to start putting some lyrics together, and I knew it was going to be a really hard thing to do. But I also knew there was no pressure because I wasn't going to ever show anyone this song. Me deciding to make a video about it is a thing that's happened after the fact. And one of the reasons I've decided to share this is because it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It was like every single time I addressed one of the feelings I had and I came up with a line or a lyric to go in the song, it was like I was taking power away from that vulnerable feeling that I've been talking about. It genuinely made me feel better in the same way that it made me feel better when I actually opened up and talked to my other half about the problems I was having at the time. As a songwriter, this genuinely felt amazing to be writing something that felt like I needed to get out of me, that needed to be expressed. And as a craftsman, this is where you go back and forth over and over again. You craft the song into the thing that it's gonna become. I've written a song about something very personal that I don't like to talk about. And I can honestly say it's a song that I'm really proud of.
I'm gonna be the rock, supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything, but I find it hard to talk. I know you're the one I can tell anything to. I'm meant to be the rock, supposed to be the one who can shoulder anything, but I find it hard to talk. I find it hard to talk. I'm meant to be the rock.